The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares. For real. Nightmares where you are running naked on a treadmill made of razor blades, and your third-grade teacher is pointing and laughing at you. And even if you survive the treadmill with your feet intact, she is going to tell you that you flunked the third grade, which negates all the rest of your achievements. The program is rated TV MA NSFW OMFG GAF TTV BYGAS. It is unsafe for epileptics. It kills lab rats. Why are you still here? This show came out of the dark recesses of a coked-up guy's mind who has just been given too much privilege and access and now just takes a depraved delight in disturbing and scaring you. In fact, if we're being totally honest here, the original creator never expected a third season pickup, so now he's just trying to think of creative ways to kill the characters off. Seriously, don't watch this. We can't warn you strongly enough. Do you need a doctor of some kind? What is the matter with you?
If I could turn back time, then I wouldn't change any life. Wonder how the time flies fast. When I say now it's almost past. Days go by, years go by, life goes by. Time to rest. I wonder how the time flies fast. The book of my life was written in stone. I never regretted all of the things that I've done. Though the waters that flow through the earth,
Yes, indeed. Sometimes the universe puts us in the right place in the right moment. One of the things I've done for many episodes is open with that track. It was a track that I did with my brother, John Porter. hanging in the chat. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Can't make that shit up, man. Came in at the right time. Yeah, it's a track that he and I worked on. Matt Brown on vocals. My son on some of the acoustic guitar work with me. My brother Tony Rodriguez on bass. And Jeff Thaw on drums. We're kind of in like the 2-year anniversary of Music in the Garden. Not quite, but some of the tracks we released along the way. Just Like Me was released 2 years ago, Sunday the 8th. So yeah, time's a funny thing. But working on some new stuff in between all the other side stuff. And coincidentally, one of the guys that I'm working on new music with, Ed Contini, a.k.a. the Contini Context, just come strolling in. You see, you can't make this shit up. Really can't. Love you guys. Love you all. Want to get this out of the way. If you missed the earlier disclaimer, let me just put it simply. The thoughts, expressions, views, opinions, etc., are mine and mine fucking alone unless you choose to share it. Please take what you need. Leave the rest behind. It's cool. Language sometimes does come into play here. Who am I fucking kidding? This is where I can actually just not have to pretty much worry about what the fuck I say. So you will hear F-bombs, you will hear off-colored references, you'll hear things about tortoises and diapers and, what really happened on Noah's Ark. My brother Judah knows because he's a whiter shade of pale. He gets it. Love you guys, man. And these are some of the guys that I work with over at the radio station, WRFZ, Rochester Free Radio. Tonight we're going to have one of the bands performing. No, I didn't forget you, witch. I just didn't get to your part. Like, Shy is in the chat giving me the finger and shit. Like, she's cool. She's sitting in the fucking room next to me. You know what I mean? Which is ironic. She should just walk up to me and just do what Diane does to Ed and just terrorize. Put the fear, because we all need
emotional damage.
I love that fucking button. I could just sit there and play with it forever. One of the beautiful things, at least, with some of the tech available now, you can just, no, it is not. It is not an invitation. Stay the fuck. You can probably hear her laughing in the fucking background. So yes, we're going to be talking about Slash Fest tonight. We're going to have Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. Joey Servideo is going to come on. He's going to join us. And he's got one of the other guys. Okay. And I was informed of this about 10 minutes. No, it's probably more like 15 minutes ago. But that's cool. Mark Gaskin is going to also be joining us and stuff. Much love to Mark. Mark got me the infamous track that none of us were able to fucking figure out yesterday, going back and forth. And I mean, JJ, Joey, myself, I don't know how many people it was spinning around. But Mark finally, he just emailed me the MP3. I'm like, bang, into the catalog it goes. So that'll be a track we'll be playing a little bit later when we bring those guys on, and I'll be incorporating into my show. Yeah, my mother's lurking in the shadows, warning me about how she'll melt you. This is an Aries thing. People who know me know that I've had Aries women around me my entire life. I cannot get away from it. My mother's in Aries. My son's mother was in Aries. The last 3 relationships that I've had in the past 30 years, all of them are Aries. I don't know. The universe is obviously trying to tell me something, or like what Ed has to go through. I'm just running from the proverbial pepperoni that the universe trying to jam in my ass. Headbutt. Yes. Thank you, my love. So yeah, Slosh Fest this Sunday, April 14th, and we might as well get that up because that's going to be the primary. That's going to be the primary graphic on the show tonight. So if you come here looking for memes or any of that type of stuff, yeah, it's not going to be that kind of night. Slosh Fest 2024. This is second annual Slosh Fest. Brother Brian Judah is putting on. It's going to be at the Iron Smoke Distillery in Fairport. It's going to be, again, Sunday the 14th from 1 to 7 p.m. It's a free show, but we are asking people if they can to throw a couple bucks. Everything raised is going to Mary Cariola. We're doing this as an autism event, something that's, near and dear to my heart. I've been a member of the Under My Skin for Life Foundation now over a decade. And a lot of us within our circles, we either have directly family members or people that we love and care for that have directly or indirectly been influenced, affected, whatever word you want to throw on it. So it's something that we, again, believe strongly in. And this is the power community. Part of it, obviously, and the bigger part to some degrees, is celebrating the life of Uncle Slosh. I never got the pleasure to meet him. I came into the station after his passing, unfortunately. But the first place that I met a bunch of these people was at the first Slosh Fest last year. That was at Pineapple Jack's. That's where I met JJ and his band, which at the time was Rusted Sun. It's where I met people like Jane Evil and Bradley and Sicko Art, Brother Doug, and a whole bunch of others. And these are a lot of the people that are in my life now. And again, I am blessed to have that. Now, again, I don't know what Joey's got up his sleeve. You know what I mean? Last time we were talking, he was sending me pics of glow-in-the-dark tabletops. So I don't know where Brother Man's going to go. But I told him, say, listen, this is your time. Obviously, we're going to play some of the music. We're going to talk about the event. Again, Brother Floyd is one of the bands that will be performing Sunday, as well as Brian Judah's Days End. We got Blue Circle. We got Stoned and Free, which Cheyenne and I, we went to their show Sunday at Tyson's Upper Deck. And man, are they good. Real good. Great show. We were hanging out with Scotty Palingra. He and I had a pretty wild conversation earlier in the day, discussing all the groovy joys of narcissism and psychic vampires and, the horror Babylon, chemtrails, all that good shit that, makes the basis of any given conversation in a day. And we both agreed it does not appear that the rapture actually happened. So for those of you that were waiting for it, yeah, not this time. I heard it was rescheduled. They needed a bigger venue. I don't know. Those of you who paid for tickets, it may be, just like another ticket master kind of, bullshit. Sorry. Like the Fear Festival. This is the world we live in. You know what I mean? It is insane. The music scenes. And, it was one of the things that Scott and I were talking about earlier. It doesn't matter where you go. If you go to New Orleans, if you go to Brooklyn, if you go to Buffalo, if you go to the Jersey Shore, the music scene has and always will be distorted by the not so nice things. People have fucking egos. They have their own agendas. A lot of it is driven around the almighty quest to make a fucking buck, regardless of who you fuck in the process. Some of it is just personality. The old adage, negative attention is better than no intention. So, when you get somebody that's fucking tweaked out and decides to go on a Facebook rant and take shots at other venue owners and stuff like that, you want to publicly hang yourself out, and just bend over, spread your ass cheeks and say, hey, this is who I really am. I am basically a walking, talking asshole. And if you happen to own one of those clubs, say like Photo City Music Hall, you know what I mean? I'm just hearing this is what people say. I can't confirm it. I'm not the guy that's going to go that deep to check that asshole out, but I trust the people around me and their experiences. So yeah, I'm going to call that shit out. I don't care. Part of the reason I started doing it, and the podcast is almost 3 years old. This August is going to be 3 years. I've been dancing this insanity, but it's my insanity and I like sharing it. I've been expanding on a bunch of different things. I got my brother Ed Contini now, who is literally, he's renting space in my head and writing scripts and fucking papers flying all around. We're just like, oh, I'll turn this in a fucking diaper. Here we go. You know what I mean? That's the Contini context. You never know what the fuck's going to happen. Well, no, I'm not a proctologist, brother. That's definitely But I fight demons sometimes, so by default, sometimes demons are disguised as assholes. So, you know, somebody says potato, I say pedophile. That's just me. By the way, that's comedy and satire for anybody whose head's spinning. It's tough sometimes, I won't lie. A couple times I've kind of tripped it up on the radio show because, again, I started doing this. This was my, I guess you could say, baptism. I didn't want to deal with the censorship. Those that know me know that I'm a huge advocate for free speech. Even if you don't like it, that's the whole point. That's the context of free speech. But regardless, neither here nor there. So I've segued it more into some of the local music here, not just my music. And then, you know, bringing in some of different approaches with certain things. It's just kind of my way. So we're going to kick it off with a little bit of Brother Floyd, one of their tracks, Bleeding Cowboy. I'm going to get Danny on the phone, and I'm going to bring them in and let them do their thing. I'm just going to kind of, you know, sit back and be like, yeah, that's what's going on. But I'm sure it's going to be fun. So hang on for a few minutes, and we'll be right back. So, all right, yeah, that was Bleeding Cowboy from Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. I got Joey Servideo with me. I got it right that time. You had sent me the little thing, and you kind of broke it down. You're like, blessed sinners, because you don't want to be blessed, right?
Well, I mean, whether you believe in God or what have you, the first band name that we were toying around with was Brother Floyd and the Holy Rollers, and I went, wait a minute, are we playing for Christ or what's going on?
Yeah, right.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm not exactly joining a.
How's he handling bookings these days? Have you had an opportunity? Has he spoken to you and given you any inside information on the local music scene here you want to share?
Not as far as what, Jesus?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, he couldn't do any worse than some of the fucking characters we have in town sometimes. But yeah, listen, for everybody again who's not familiar, Joey's part of Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. So why don't you start off by just telling folks a little bit about yourself, how you came into it, and then whatever else makes sense to you.
Absolutely. Well, our good buddy. Frontman, or part three of frontmen, I should say. We have multi singers in the band, which is awesome. But JJ got a hold of me, found out that I was playing my bass after a little hiatus, and basically reached out and said, hey man, you want to kind of check out what we're doing and get a feel for the music as far as what style and what we're playing, and we'd love to have you come out and jam a little bit, see what's what. So did that. Met with JJ and Bradley and Rod Stats, and they brought a couple of tunes to the forefront, and I'm like, man, this is what music, especially as far as genre is concerned. I mean, it's been lacking. There's not really a lot of good rock and roll.
No, man, listen, it's a season of covers out here in Rochester, man. Come on. Yeah. We know it for what it is. And it is the clubs, everybody's got to make a buck. You're a working guy. I'm a working guy. You know what I mean? So, we don't want to take it away from anybody, but it does get a bit one-dimensional.
But it's again with the original songs that we're doing. I mean, it's Southern rock, I would say.
Oh yeah, JJ has a sound that carries over, be it Rusted Sun or when it was the JJ Lang Band, and he's been very open and honest about that. And you guys were on Rock the Rock just Sunday or 2 Sundays ago, and it is what it is. Sometimes we are what we are, so we can't always escape that despite our best intentions. And it's going to have, especially if JJ's up there singing, it's going to sound like JJ, you know what I mean? So there's no way around it. But I do agree, you guys, I see a little bit of the Southern, but I see a little bit of like that James Gang dynamic. You know what I mean? Where you definitely got a very powerful bass. You're not afraid to be like, all right, I'm going to step up into these guitar players and, you know what I mean? Channel John Paul Jones in there.
Sure. I am not your pocket bass player, never will be, never claim to be. As far as, musically, my background per se, I mean, I started back in elementary school playing the violin, went through school playing the violin, the viola, and did not read music, couldn't read music. I played all by ear. That's just what I could do. I mean, I could figure out notes. I could do tabs once tabs started. I have found out about those, but I can't read it, play it as fast as I can hear it.
I'm the same way. I equivalate that to surfing. You just have to jump on the board and you have to ride it. And after you dance it for a few times, you kind of bond with it because it really is an expression. It's a form of energy. The instrument is just a tool to some degrees. But, again, there's a case to be made for tablature and arrangements and all that. But when you can feel it, it translates more, I think, to performing live, if you know what I mean.
And my style, I mean, if you say that it would be a style, I mean, I basically attack it like a third or basically fourth guitar, but rhythmically. So, Billy, I mean, shit, nobody, I've never seen anybody play like Billy Sheehan. He is the man.
That's a great analogy there. So I'm
You know.
assuming he's been one of your influences.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I grew up, my stepdad was a bass player. So, I mean, Kim Mitchell, Tallis, Rush, you name it. That's what I grew up playing and listening to. And never attempted to play any of those bands just because I'm like, you know what, I'm not even attempting this because I'm not going to do it any justice. And it's one of those things. It's a confidence level and figuring out what your strengths, what your weaknesses are. But it's to the point where, I can hear pretty much anything and figure it out. So, it just comes with practice.
Well, yeah, it happens over time. I mean, anybody can be a technical player to the degree, but we both know that it doesn't always translate in performing live. It's great for studio work.
Sure.
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? But performing live is a completely different thing. Now, you had, when our discussions, and if you want to talk a little bit, you had kind of stepped out of the scene like I did for a while. I did the single dad dance, and I think to some degrees you were dancing a similar analogy. And you said, that there was just, a couple of moments that just happened that said, here it is. Here is the crossroads to come back into it. And you've been on fire. I mean, you were really excited. When you first reached out to me, you were just like, yeah, we're going to be playing with 38 Special for my birthday. And I'm like, this dude is into it.
Yeah. It's a long time coming. I mean, I had my son, he's going to be 20 in September, played my last show at the Penny Arcade there. And, she was 6 months pregnant with him. And, once the kids came, it was all right. You gotta, I was 24, 25 years old. I had to go to work, and having an infant, you can't really crank your bass amp up too loud while, kids are running around. And then I had two more. So
no, listen, I respect that. That's a conscious choice because a lot of people will trade off the family dynamic for the scene, for the pursuit of fame or glory or money or, combinations of therefore. And you said, you know what, I'm going to step back. I'm going to be a dad, which, I did the same thing. And I have a lot more respect. I don't begrudge, musicians, but it's not a good context to try and raise a family. It just really isn't.
It was half that. And Mark, my singer from that band is actually in Brother Floyd with us. And if he remembers correctly, we were playing the Penny Arcade and I believe it was two women that got on stage and took their tops off.
Yeah, that's not conducive for marriage.
I'm playing my bass and I'm looking at my my ex-wife now, and she's looking at me like you're fucking done.
Yeah. My son had a weird experience at one of the shows we did down the Jersey Shore. I don't remember if it was the Stone Pony or the headliner, but there were a couple of like Jersey Shore desperate housewife types just completely fucking hammered out of their mind. And he's this young guy with long hair, he looks the fucking part. And man, they slugged up on him like you would not believe. And we enjoyed it for a few minutes because you're like, all right, you wanted to play in a fucking band. Now you get to see what it's really like. But he was like a deer caught in headlights. And they were fucked up, dude. And he was just like, I don't like this part.
It's a little much, especially, first thing, like, holy shit, this is a little wild. But, just in a completely different headspace now. My kids are all older. I got 3 more years until my youngest is out of high school. Just a different headspace, a different zen, I would call it.
No, that's a great way to put it. You're never too old. Brother Ed Contini, Crazy Eddie, he's like 67, 68, and he's growing the beard in. I'm teaching him like, hardcore riffs and shit. He wants to play harder stuff. I'm like, you go, man. Fucking A.
It's really cool. My daughter, my 16-year-old Kira, she's a first chair trumpet player. She's a phenomenal horn. My son, a year ago, decided he was going to just pick up a guitar and literally taught himself basically how to play like I did.
Oh, dude, one of the greatest bucket list moments in my life has been playing on stage with my kid. You got to make that happen. Trust me. It's magic.
We were in another project together and we ended up kind of stepping away just because it's hard to find, a singer in this town. It's hard to find people that are into it. So, I mean, I play all different styles of music and this stuff was more metalcore kind of sound. But, and at that, I mean, Jay, the drummer, phenomenal. phenomenal drummer. And Kenny, who was our other guitar player, phenomenal. You know, it's hard to do multi-projects at the same time. It's hard to line schedules up at the same time. I also own a business, so I'm trying to juggle that.
Yeah, no, listen, it's a lot to juggle. So, you know, listen, you pick and choose your places. Just make sure you put that down. Trust me when I tell you, it's one of those moments that, you know, again, you can't even really describe it in words. One of the bands playing Sunday, Stoned and Free, they're a father-son duo as well, too. You know,
that's awesome.
The guitar player singer is the son, and then the bass player is the dad. And the dad originally was a guitar player that saw his son, and he looked at the way his son played. He's like, fuck this, I got to let the kid do it.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy because literally with us playing for the short period of time that we did, the music that he is capable of playing was blowing my mind. And when I brought up to the guys, you know, hey, look at, you know, my son's been playing. If you want to have him have a tryout, I do not want you guys thinking, hey, this is my kid, I want him in the band. It's not like that. He had an open tryout, and he basically learned what we had written, the 4 or 5 tunes that we had. He learned them in 3 days and came down and crushed it.
Nice.
So, I mean, proud isn't even the word.
No, listen, I feel you. It is what it is. But listen, it's also reflective, I think, what I like sometimes to call magic. Magic isn't always this Harry Potter, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's the simple things many times in life. It's the relationships we have, how we interact with people, old school dynamics. You and I are we come from like a similar dynamic where, you know, used to be a handshake and somebody's word meant something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that, you know, how you acted. And you made a great analogy example. You chose your marriage, you chose your wife over the bimbos. You know what I mean? A lot of guys can't do that. And I'm not going to throw any fingers, but we both know that is part of what the scene is. And then you get into the alcohol and the drugs and the egos and the insanity. It's dancing in the mouth of madness many times.
Yep. Absolutely. I was a security guard for many, many years downtown.
Same here. I used to do security for Marshall Tuckle, man. I used to do the biker shows. Holy shit, man. Let me tell you, some of those shows I did with my buddy Chris Miller, they were like, you know, philosophy classes. You just sat back and just watched how people slowly shifted as the alcohol levels brewed up. And then the music kicked in. And let me tell you, those guys were, you know, incredible. I guess you could say they had the charisma type of thing. Doug Gray, you know what I mean? He's been, 75 years old now. He's still on the fucking bus touring around the country. We covered the show in July at Batavia Downs, where you guys are going to be opening for 38 Special. And he came on the show and he was joking about it. He'll die on that thing. You know what I mean? He may stop and do some more albums, you know, because I think he's got a little bit still of the bug. But they're doing, like, he did a show in May at the Milwaukee Harley Davidson shop with Green Day. He just wants to play with all kinds of different musicians. He doesn't give a shit about some of the stylistic elements. They're doing shows now with Jefferson Airplane or whatever's left of Jefferson Airplane, you know. But
it's like Blackberry Smoke. I mean, they were playing with Leslie West, you name it, the who's who of who.
Right.
And, you know, and they can play the phone book and play it well. So, you know, I could be only so lucky to be at that level, you know. It would be an awesome ride, you know. I'm just enjoying what we got going on now, you know. Just
absolutely, yeah.
Out of the gate, you know, people are like, "Hey, what do you guys got going on? Where do you guys want to go?" You know, we've had tons of contacts with a ton of different people, and it's just all been positive.
Yeah, no, listen, the little bit that I've heard, I have liked, you know, and I'm very honest with it. You know, I don't see any sense, you know, granted, you know, you're not going to be cruel and be an asshole and be like, that shit sucks. Right. But, you know, I can honestly say, you know, that there is that old school Southern dynamic, but with a little bit, you know, that little bit hedgier rock type of thing, you know, James Gang, you know, everybody's probably going to have their own little twist on it, but it's the type of stuff that people can get into. It has a good vibe to it. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday. You know what I mean? Again, I saw JJ with Rusted Sun first Slosh Fest. So the second Slosh Fest is going to be the new incarnation. It's going to be, you know, Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right.
Sir.
So let's we're gonna cut to one of the new tracks from one of the other local bands. Take a break real quick. You had mentioned you got Mark with you, so how about we have him jump on and see what he likes to share, and then we can come back and then we can get into whatever you want, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
All right.
I'm good with it. Thank you, sir.
Nah, hang on. We're just gonna play a track real quick and then we'll be back.
Beautiful.
It was a beautiful day today. Tomorrow it could rain. Yesterday was perfect. Shelter from the pain. Future is uncertain. Keeps you guessing every day. I would not replace the unknown. It's exciting in a way. Meet me at the crossroads of what's been and what could be. The place that I'll be waiting. A place of possibilities. Meet me at the crossroads. You could always stay in or go out and hit the town, depending on the mood you're in. Are you ready to get down? Just might meet the one you've been holding out hope for. Find that you will know it. Knock you right down on the floor. Meet me at the crossroads of what's been and what could be. The place that I'll be waiting. A place of possibilities. Meet me at the crossroads. Hey, hey. Meet me at the crossroads. Meet me at the crossroads of what's been and what could be. The place that I'll be waiting. A place of possibilities. Meet me at the crossroads. Hey, hey. Well, meet me at the crossroads. Hey, hey. Now meet me at the crossroads. Well, meet me at the crossroads.
All right, so we're back. I think we're getting Mark Gaskin on the live. You there, brother?
Yeah, man.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Hey, why don't you take a couple of minutes, introduce yourself, tell people about you, do that whole, get up on stage, let the girls check you out, and then we'll let the bidding commence.
That's great. 5'9", blonde hair and blue eyes.
There you go, ladies. You hear that?
And married.
Oh,
And
well,
very
see,
happily
that's
married.
where it all fucking falls apart right there.
That's the one. But that's I got a good one, though. I got to tell you.
No,
Man,
listen, that's beautiful. You know, Joey
The
was
Old Wolf
talking
here
about
to
how,
remind
know,
you to join
oh,
us
Jesus,
Sunday,
you know.
April
I apologize. All right, let me just cut that out. This is one of my promos. I had everything loaded up with the Slosh Fest stuff, so sometimes I use OBS to broadcast because I'm an old Carlin guy. I'm not giving these big fucking companies money if I can avoid it. I'll reverse engineer something before I will actually put money into their pockets. So sometimes, you know, you get those little moments where it's just, oh no, that's not what we want to play now. But it's also the beauty of doing a show live. You know what I mean? I try as much as possible to keep it organic. So, you know, sometimes it goes sideways. So I do apologize. You're married just as Joey is. Obviously, you understood and you heard some of our conversation. This is the scene when you play in a band, and especially when you play in a rock band. There are certain things that kind of circle around, not unlike vultures, as performers looking for meat. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, tell us a little bit about you. Use your own words, and listen, use whatever language you want along the way. This is uncensored, so feel free to have at it.
That's a beautiful thing. I came from Penfield. Music's a big part of my family. It goes back to playing vaudeville piano with Harry Houdini, which is some pretty cool shit.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no, that's nice.
Yeah, Grandma played the trombone. That's not any kind of weirdness there. She actually played the trombone, and playing in a family band. It always just made me really happy to know that was maybe part of the reason why I was so drawn to it without really knowing. Like, some people are just, I don't know, they just got music in them.
It's like Joe and I were talking. There's a certain chemistry element. There's an energy. Maybe it's genetic. You know, who knows really? But you know, some people are called to it. It's part of who they are. You know what I mean? And they tend to find ways to make it work. Versus, you know, a lot of people they do it for other reasons. You know, right or wrong or indifferent.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. So music for me, I there was a handful of guys from high school. We got into playing acoustics together, learning this song and that song. You know, a lot of the '90s, your Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Pumpkin.
Oh, hell yeah! I'm a big Jerry Cantrell fan. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
My number one.
So we, just all wrapped up into that, and I fell in love with playing the guitar. And it took me a while and my friends a while to fall in love with my voice. I started like obsessively, compulsively singing Pearl Jam. It was the 10 album. It was 90s, and I started getting good to the point where I was like, okay, this might be all right. And from there, fell in with a handful of guys. We put on a band for, I don't know, a couple years. It was called Entropy. And I had some fun down at the arcade, kind of got familiar with being on a stage. Lots of whoopsies. Got to meet Uncle Raj. He was down there for a couple of our shows. And man, what a nice guy. A little piece of Rochester gold.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good dude. Real good dude. From there, shortly after, fell in with Joey in another band. And a little different than my typical style. It was more punk rock based. And, as I mentioned, I kind of like the acoustic, that kind of thing. So it was a jump. And now I'm on a different jump,
Isn't that great about it? I mean, as a guitar player, you have all these possibilities that you can explore. Like, One of the beautiful things about doing a live podcast like this is my mother lurks in the fucking shadows and put it out there in the public track, reminding me who else started playing trombone. Yeah, when I was a kid, my first musical instrument was a trombone.
There you go.
And then I heard rock music because that's what my mother was into. And she would drag me out to, the bluegrass and folk festival. So I started following the old timers around and just literally learned how to play by ear. So I could read sheet music to play trombone, but I learned guitar by ear just by literally, again, hanging out with the old time acoustic guitar players. That's how I started as well, too. And then, I started getting into Zeppelin and Rainbow and stuff like that. And then it was all fucking over, man. I was just like, I'm going to get high. I'm going to get the chicks. And, my mother's like, all right, yeah, no, and, but we go through that when we're younger. You know what I mean? I did the similar thing again, like Joey said, when I was in my mid to late 20s, I kind of walked away from the whole thing because I had a kid now, and I ended up being a single parent raising, not only my own son, but it felt like half the fucking neighborhood. So there wasn't, we all know it's not a conducive element, especially if you're going to try and play like bars and, some of the clubs. It's one thing if you're going to do the local VFW or if you're going to do like the I Square there at House of Guitars. Nobody's getting fucked up there. You don't have to worry as much about the crowds. But, raising a family is a full-time job. It really is.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
So what brought you back into it, as they say?
Well, I got a message from Joey. He's like, I got this thing going on. I really think you ought to take a listen. And, I was kind of protesting. I was just, I don't want to get into music. And then I listened, and he was right. So, it was maybe a week after I was down for the first rehearsal. And it was a refreshing experience from the last band that I remember doing. The guys were like, can you hear yourself okay? Who says that in the band? Can you hear yourself okay? Because normally, it's volumes up and up and up and up,
Well, I mean, but this is true anywhere you go. This is just the core human dynamic. A lot of times, again, and it's not that people they're trying to be assholes. Sometimes they are, but, especially when you're talking about things like sound elements and balance. And again, that ever so important chemistry, it's not easy. And especially as we get older, a lot of people have fallen off for whatever reason, or they're shot out, or they've established that they cannot be worked with, so you get limited opportunities now to really be able to do it. So it sounds like you guys found, that lightning in the bottle in the moment, and you're running with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't have fallen in with a nicer group of guys, really. I mean, for example, we got that thing that happened with Dale Lazaro. It's not just that they're good guys; they're guys with heart. The next thing you know, we're putting $3,000 in the hand of a guy who can't work because he just had a heart attack, and taking care of the family. That's the kind of stuff I want to be into. And
listen, brother, that's one of the only reasons I do most of what I do. We do the shows, for charity. Slosh Fest is going to be for Mary Cariola. And I've been with an autism group for a number of years, and we do a lot of shows with different people. Some of them are, quote unquote, name people, and then, the local band scenarios and stuff like that. But that is, I think, the purest definition these days of actually walking the walk, taking care of the fucking people around you. Don't worry about all the other stupid shit. And especially with music. Music is that universal language that really cuts through all the bullshit. You know what I mean? You don't even have to know the fucking language. If it's got a good beat in it, you got some rockin' stuff with it, you can just go with the flow. And it's a powerful tool. And, I was impressed by it. And, I'm really glad that you guys are, coming back, with this new incarnation for Slosh Fest. And I believe it's a good template to work out here. You know what I mean? It can't just be about the ego. It can't just be about the dollar. We got people around us that, have been doing things and have been a part of, be they, a veteran or a firefighter, or just, hey, the guy down the road, like you said, who you guys knew. So that to me is real fucking magic.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Now, Joey was telling you guys went through a little bit of the growing pains and some of the sound issues in getting it tweaked. We all know how much fun it is sometimes to walk into a place and have to, deal with whatever you have to work with. So
Sure.
give me your impressions of that as a guitar player.
Yeah, well, I actually found that I was making a mistake. I was running through the effects loop on my amp, so I wasn't getting the power of the preamp. So, lesson learned. Yeah, definitely run in through the front. I was probably a good, 10 watts quieter than I should have been. That being said, I was able to hear that okay. Monitor-wise, I was having difficulty hearing the vocals. So I was doing more yell singing just so I could stay over the top to know that.
You did your best Beatles at Shea Stadium thing.
There you go. Yeah, man.
So yeah.
Listen, it happens. There's no way around it. Anybody who has performed live more than once or twice knows that, this is the roll of the dice. A lot of places, depending upon what type of sound system, who's running the board. I remember when Dangerous Beauty did the show downtown with Sabbath Nights, their electrical system was fucking tweaky, and Manny couldn't get the fucking hum out of anything. And I mean, it was just like, it was like Frankenstein's laboratory. And it was just like, there's no. So he jammed his noise gate up like to its full potential and still had to, manually tweak his sounds. And, it is what it is to some degrees, but some of it also, too, is part of the magic of performing live because you don't get the opportunity. I know some people who will stop a song and be like, no, we got to start over again. But most people they'll just dance through it. And most of the time, the audience won't even notice it. They'll think, well, that's just part of the show.
Onward and awkward.
Yes, onward and awkward. Very well said. Very well said.
Yeah, man.
So listen, I appreciate
you.
Go on.
Great show. Got a great show for the folks Sunday. It's going to be fun. I said folks. That's funny.
Oh.
Yeah, well, yeah. Listen, I mean, again, I know from when you guys were talking with Judah and stuff like that you've been actively working on these new songs. I do appreciate you got me a copy of Badlands. So the next break that we take, I'm going to premiere that. I'm going to start putting it into some of the WRZ playlist stuff as well, too. Where
Excellent.
are you guys at with your production, with your recording, or to the degree that you can talk about it?
So, I mean, we got 2 semi done. We've got, what are we at?
Badlands is there.
Yeah, Badlands is there. We were doing.
So we got
another
Swamp
one that
Ash and
Swamp Ash Moon's
2
coming.
songs in the works that are really, they're almost ready for production.
Well, basically what we were doing with trying to get ready for the Lazaro benefit was just to cram a set together. And we only did 6 songs, out of the gate. And with it being our first show, and us, me, myself, and Mark not playing in front of people in forever and a day, that was part of the nerve wracking, not being able to hear yourself. You're like, oh shit, am I embarrassing myself right now? So, but as far as getting the album done, we're hopefully trying to get it done and have at least a good portion of it done to have for the 38 special show.
Cool. Listen,
then,
that's going to be a good listen. Like I said, I covered Tucker last year there, and that outdoor stage setup. They've got a good sound system, and you should do well there. I think.
Yeah, I think me personally, I'm a live guy. So when I listen to any music played on the radio, I'd rather hear the live take, the live set. Different every time. I don't care, but if it's good live, they're a good band. I can't handle the overproduced crap that's out there nowadays. So I brought up to the band actually, just in chatting. I would love to record our whole set at the 38 special show and release that first. That's just something. Hey man, this is what we sound like, real deal, raw. It is what it is. This is what we got. And not any pressure.
You know what? I mean, again, having been there, I would say it's a good a place as any. It's a good open air sound. So, as long as you're taking everything off the main board,
Right.
versus just trying to air mic it, like an iPhone type of thing. Yeah, you would have a good shot there. I would think that would be a good place to try and do it. And it really, that's a great moment. You know what I mean? To be able to open for a band like 38 Special. So that's going to be a moment in time.
Yeah. So that's my take on it. What do you think, Mark? What do you think about getting this album together?
Let's send it. Yes.
Yeah. You'd like fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
Get him out.
Yeah. Just getting everybody on board and basically getting the core. We just added 2 more to our set that we've been working on for the past week or so, and they're coming along great. And that kind of creativity, that the album's kind of writing itself. So,
that's always the best when you don't have to force it. Let's be honest. Yeah, when you can just find that groove and just run with it, everything else is gravy. And like being able to do that in a live setting really again defines the ability to perform, because you can do a track 1,000 times over. And like you said, you can produce it, throw some auto tune in there, and do all kinds. I had to do a lot of that shit during the pandemic because you couldn't get together, and there was no other way. And a lot of the people I know live in different places, like fucking Memphis and Florida and Texas, and so it was just like, okay, there's no other way. But
that in itself is a cool element, because now you guys are still getting together, you're still playing music, sharing off. And it's not.
But I agree with you. There's some, you do lose something. We're not all gonna write Sergeant Pepper. You know what I mean? As much as we love to, and you can make a comparison. I love Stone Temple Pilots. You know what I mean? But they were a different band. Did you ever see them live?
Yeah.
Then you know what I'm talking about. They had a little bit different sound. Same with Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains, their recorded stuff is good, but when you saw them live, it was an experience.
Yep, absolutely. They're a huge influence on me. Them, Stained, it's those 2 bands in particular. That's what I was angry.
Yeah, listen, it is the important. But listen, this is, again, the deeper reflection of what happens sometimes. You look at Chris Cornell. There's a long, ugly history in rock and roll and many other, forms of art, be it a Robin Williams or whatever, that, fame comes with a price. It isn't all just American Idol. We're going to, fade off into the sunset. It's you're Diddy and you're in Florida and you're getting busted by the fucking feds because, you were touching something you shouldn't touch. So,
yep, absolutely. And that's what's cool about my situation in particular and how I'm looking at what we're doing. At the end of the day, to have the opportunity to play Batavia Downs for 38 Special on my 45th birthday, would have never thought 2 years ago, I would have been laughing at. You know what I mean? It's just everything on top, whether we get paid or not. I don't think, I can only speak for myself. I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I could care less, to play, with different people that, that I respect it's really cool.
Oh, listen, it allows you to protect your integrity, and it allows you to pretty much, write your own script within it. There is a case to be made that, once you go down the rabbit hole, you may not like what you find. And especially when it comes to, I know a lot of guys, again, that are doing, 2 or 3 shows a week, and they don't give a fuck if it's, some beer craft here or a hole in the wall there. And they're pounding themselves just to scrape a couple of nickels together. So they don't have to, deal with the other stuff on the outside. So, it's always a trade-off one way or the other.
Absolutely. I want to be busy enough to be relevant, and have enough
but still
fun
enjoy it and not have it be, like you said, if it isn't fun, why fucking do it?
Right. Right. And again, nobody, I don't think is saying, hey, look at, we got this illusion of making it. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, we are,
Well,
we're having
what really defines making it? Especially within our circles and stuff like that. If people enjoy what you do, you made it, man. Listen, I think the rest of the stuff is just smoke and mirrors. We bullshit each other about like we have to crawl to this imaginary top. And then by the time we get there, nobody fucking likes us because we're a narcissistic ego asshole. You know what I mean? And it's just, why trade it off? Especially if you have things like kids, if you got a marriage, if you got all these other things, again, Joey, I know you got a business and stuff. So it isn't like you have to, again, do it for the money or, do it for the chicks or any of the other stupid reasons that some people go out there to do this.
No, and fortunately for us, especially everybody in the band's got, a wife, and I have a fiance, and she has been super supportive. She hasn't, done anything but support, and she's a huge music fan, which is awesome too. But there's boundaries and respect and things that go along with it that, she knows that would never get crossed with me, which is a great situation. So, I mean, all the positivity from everybody and doing what we're doing, especially for, charities and things of that nature. I mean, it's all paying itself forward. So, if everybody can kind of stay in that mind frame, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, no, listen, enjoy it for what it is. To some degrees, it's also, reflective. You've all, paid your dues to different degrees. JJ's been in a few bands. You've all been in a few bands. So it's not like it's your first rodeo. Don't get me wrong. I had the same dynamic when I first came back and started doing shows. Those first couple times, it's like riding a horse. You just got to get comfortable again so you don't fall off. But even if you fall off, you get back, and you do it again.
Right. Absolutely. No, we just got a really good thing going. The vibe's great. The material is writing itself. Like I said, I mean, Mark and I have a few songs that we might rehash and reintroduce to the world. It was really cool years ago. I mean, we recorded most of our stuff ambiently in our recording studio, and we built a recording studio right next to the Chesterfield Kings spot in Fairport. And, I had somehow, some way saved those recordings on a disc. I brought to my brother. He took audio engineering. He's an audio engineer. Put it on a USB, and I have those recordings still. So I mean, to pop those back in and listen to what we were doing back then, and it would still hold up today. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, it's a great segue. Why don't you tell us before we're going to take another break? But why don't you lead us into Badlands, because I believe Badlands is one of those ones that it's a repurposed track, but that you guys have done now.
No. There are Badlands. It was all Rod and JJ. They actually wrote that recently.
All right, so it was Bleeding Cowboy was the one that got
Bleeding Cowboy got repurposed.
Okay.
JJ wrote it, and it's a great tune, and I figured dust it off and bring that. And I believe Judah, I think, might have even played on Wicked Road back in the day.
Yeah, I think you guys were talking about that on the Sunday show and stuff like that. So Badlands truly is us. That
is our creation. That's Rod wrote the guitar parts and came up with the concept as far as the political climate. We're in this weird realm.
That's a fucking understatement, man.
And it's just a true, real deal from the heart, how it is. And if you don't like it, maybe you should get a fucking reality check.
Well, that's the hard part these days is, we used to be able to find, middle ground on things. And, I dance a lot in this because I have friends on both ends of the spectrum. But the one commonality that seems to be consistent is they all have things like respect, tolerance, intelligence, you know what I mean? The kind of required things. And we all know this. We got fucking lunatics on both ends of the spectrum that would rather keep us all spinning in bullshit.
Yeah. I'm a libertarian, man. I figure everybody should be able to do what the hell they want as long as they don't hurt anybody else. Have at it.
Yeah, no, listen, that's a great, I try and dance, my mother was more back in the time in the 60s, she was one of the freaks, but I have come to find that, tolerance, even if we don't like a thing, we talk about things like freedom of speech, you know what I mean? They require us to kind of, we have to respect the other thing. You don't have to like it. You know what I mean? But, certain things we can find the common ground on. Like nobody wants like all this sexuality in schools with kids. No. It's fucking stupidity.
It's insane.
Yeah. But we don't take care of our vets. We have not taken care of our veterans for fucking generations. Right. Every time these kids and these men and women come back, we just kind of look at them like, well, thanks, have a nice day. Step over them on the sidewalk, throw a couple quarters in the can, and then fucking forget about it. So I don't think you don't need a political dynamic to have compassion, to have empathy for people who have risked their lives. You know what I mean? To protect ours.
Try to live a normal life in society when they've seen the most horrific shit you can imagine. I mean,
no doubt.
Seems, active, but I mean, again, you don't know what the machine will do to you until you're in the machine.
Well, again, I take a lot from George Carlin as a kid. He spoke to me, and I think he called it well. None of them give a shit about us. Okay, nope. The corporations, they surely don't give a shit. No, they don't. They'll use us as guinea pigs. They will sell us bullshit and then smile. And then they'll hire somebody to calculate, how much profit loss do we need to hit before human lives actually make a fucking difference.
Well, I'm pretty sure Amazon and everybody else tried to put me out of business because they wanted all of the pie, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, no, listen. And we also know, the flip side of it, whereas I'm sure you pay a fair, fat share in fucking taxes on everything you do.
Yep.
Why doesn't Exxon?
Right. Why do I have to prove you know what I mean? As far as the when you break it down and you do your taxes, you got not just your profit is subject. You know what I mean? Now you got to break down material cost, labor cost, and everything else. So, I mean, it's just the scrutiny of the little guy.
Oh, listen, small businesses have been getting hammered, and Crazy Eddie likes to refer to it as the scandemic. So, that whole little chapter definitely switched some of the illusions I think that people were kind of comfortable with for a while, because we had cruised for a while. And
everybody, but see, what the thing with that too is everybody got that extra money in their check because you weren't working, but the business owner had
business owners got fucked.
Yeah, I didn't get no extra $800 a week, I can tell you that.
Dude, listen, a lot of us here in New York before I retired and I was working through the pandemic, if we wanted to keep our jobs, we had to go down and get, the vaccines. And, and I'm not an anti-vaccine guy, but I believe in common sense. And, my brain is saying, this is a little bit too fast to be rushing this shit out.
My whole thing with that, too, is not for nothing, but what happened to my body, my choice? Does that only pertain to women?
Well, listen, it's a great narrative, you know what I mean? Because that's the other side of the coin, because women are losing their minds, and rightfully so, because we're back in this dynamic that says, hey, we're gonna tell you what to do with that pussy now. And, you and I know that, again, we can agree to disagree on certain elements of things, but the basic right of choice should be,
what you want to do for your health.
Right. It's not a question of morality.
No, it's not. And it's not, you're not trying to hurt anybody else in the process. It was
right.
It was nonsense. It was
those are crazy trigger. People start, you know what I mean?
That's why I play music.
Well, listen, I do too, but you and I come from an element, and, a lot of us within these semicircles, we do have this common element that we came from a point where people were not afraid to speak. You know what I mean? We're running around wanting to cancel comedians because they did a joke that somebody somewhere didn't like. And it's just like, that's what fucking comedy is. You don't like it? Turn the fucking channel. You don't have to like it, and it's crazy because on the same side, they want us to, deal with these other things and say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, but, get over here and do that. And I think it's created this, this void. People don't trust what's going on around them. You know what I mean? And there's not a lot of evidence, to really back up that, a lot of the people who say they know what they're doing are actually, really doing what they're fucking doing. We have those dynamic problems here just in town with, overbloated school boards and, and I mean, like McDonald's can't even stay open during the daytime down on Culver because, they're afraid they're going to get fucking robbed. And
I had the union job and all that. And I realized that wasn't for me because it's literally just wasted money. Nothing getting done. People just have a job for the sake of having a job. They put their 8 hours in and their life is literally miserable.
It's drone mentality. I mean, it's just, a little extra padding to keep you comfortable while, and listen, I get it. Both my boys, they work over Gorbel. They do the third shift, working with the steel and welding and all that type of stuff. But, it pays the best. And,
and you have a trade. You could go anywhere in the world and do that skill.
Right. But it, it is always a trade-off. You know what I mean? So sometimes we have to, I do my own thing now. That's why I left it. I'm just like, listen, I'm tired of making other people fucking rich.
Yep.
I'm just not doing it anymore.
Yeah,
obviously, you decided you needed to do what you wanted to do for yourself.
Yeah, I was 25. I figured, back then, if I didn't do it then, I was never going to do it. And I took that leap of faith and never looked back.
Good for you, brother. Good for you. Listen, ultimately, it's about quality of life. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science, and it's not something that anybody has to justify. Like you said, as long as you're not, hurting somebody or, trying to do something, absolutely, ridiculous that the rest of us have to pay for it.
Yeah, no, I'm a sole proprietor. I work for myself, by myself every day. Every day.
Ultimately, then you're the only one accountable. And that's sometimes a really beautiful thing that you don't have to worry.
You only get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. If you don't want to put the effort in, you will not be successful, period.
Well said. All right, listen, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna cut over to a new track, at least as far as what I've played. I think Judah played it on the Sunday show, but it is, for all intents and purposes, a new track from Brother Floyd and the Blessed Singers. It's called Badlands, and then we will be back.
Awesome.
Stay strong. This fire's burning the whole place down. Ain't gonna be nothing left of this godforsaken town. And there may come a day when man is come and gone. Somewhere along the lines, with some of us men, we got it all wrong. I don't know about y'all, I ain't gonna watch our country fall. With the chill wind inside, chaos in broad daylight. This ain't the American way. This ain't the game that we wanted to pay. Drive into the Badlands. Survive if you think you can. With the door shut tight and you're ready to fight, they don't hear your screams. They already broke your dreams. They say follow the leader, for he's the righteous path. They led the horse to water, right to a bloodbath. We gotta stand up back off streets, stand up and shout, get on your feet. Yeah. There's no wind in sight. Houston royalty light. Stayed the American way. Stay the game that we wanted to play. Drive into the Badlands. Survive if you think that you can. With your door shut tight and you're ready to fight. They don't hear your screams, falling apart at the seams. Afraid there's no one inside. Chaos in broad daylight. This ain't the American way. This ain't the game that we wanted to play. Drive into the Badlands. Survive if you think that you can. With the door shut tight and you're ready to fight. They don't hear your screams. Fight to survive by any means. Drive into the Badlands. Survive if you think that you can. Escape the Badlands.
So yeah, that was Badlands. This is a new track from Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. They're going to be performing again, Slosh Fest, April 14th, this Sunday, 1 to 7 p.m., the Iron Smoke Distillery. It is a free show. We're asking if you can, if you can donate. All the proceeds are going to Mary Cariola. But again, if you can't afford it, and if you're up here and you want to come out and check out some really fucking great music, come down to Iron Smoke Sunday. Everybody is welcome. So, Joey, we still got you here. Any final things? Any things you want to throw into the mix? Some shout outs? Anything? This is your moment, as they say.
Well, I got to definitely thank my beautiful fiance Jennifer for putting up with all the time away from family and life. Her son Luke is a great kid. He's about to turn 16. He has spinal bifida. And the challenges that I see that kid overcome every day is just remarkable. And he's a great young man. So, as far as doing the charity stuff, I have no problem.
Much love and support for that, my friend. Listen, that is, again, a testament to character, because not everybody can dance in those pools, and it really is something that affects us all, even in the dynamic. If maybe you don't know somebody, that carries over. You know what I'm talking about. So
absolutely. And then my kids, my son, my two daughters, Kira, Riley, and Nico, they've been great. And Riley's been a part of our first show, which was really cool, and she got to come out. I had a meeting with Joe Bricado. He wants to do something for the station, I guess, coming up in June. And I told him, yeah, we're on board. If everything works out and pans out, we just got to get details together. But, we're sitting there, he's doing his set, and next thing you know, I'm getting called up on stage, and I'm like, holy shit, is this?
Yeah, no, you had mentioned that to me. Listen, these are the beautiful things sometimes within, music scenes that, you can bring different people together in different moments. Scotty P likes, jump up and do his harmonica type of thing. And, you have people out there that have been engaged and involved from different, degrees, and not everybody knows everybody to, different degrees. I as I told you, I'm a transplant, you know what I mean? I'm from Jersey. Me and Crazy Eddie are Jersey guys. Granted, I've been living up here now 6 years,
Hmm.
but some of these elements, they go deep, like you said, you've been playing music with some of these guys since high school.
Yep, absolutely. And I do have to give a huge thank you to Pete Frank. Pete Frank of ZBTB. A couple of years ago, I found out I was playing and came to my shop on a unrelated note. His wife's brother passed away, and asked me to make them a memorial headstone for them, and I didn't even think twice about it and did it. And he saw that my equipment was upstairs and kind of was listening to what I was doing, and they had a private get-together, private party, I guess, for all Rochester musicians that were in town. And he told me, you need to grab your bass and get the hell down here. And I'm like, Pete, you're out of your mind. I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of a room full of people that, do this for basically, a decent living, every week in and week out. He goes, Joe, I'm telling you right now, if you don't get down here, I'm coming there and I'm dragging you out of your shop. So I literally left the job site covered in thin set and all sorts of stuff. Show up to this party with my bass. I plug in and I play. And without doing that, without him forcing me to do that, I would not be sitting here right now.
Listen, it's the way the universe works sometimes, man. And it's a great way to close it out, because it is. Sometimes we hit those crossroads and, if you make a left turn at Albuquerque, you're not going to end up where you want to be. But sometimes, again, just that simple little moment, and somebody inspired you, or in your case, forced you.
Yep.
But they pushed you in the direction, it sounds like, at least from everything you said tonight, that you're happy to be there, you're enjoying it. So, it's a win-win.
Yep. All positive, all good, and at the end of the day, I can say, not forced. It was done the right way.
Good.
Just no bullshit, no attitude. Just have a good time.
Good. Listen, brother, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. And again,
Thank you.
Joey and the band's going to be out there Sunday,
Absolutely.
the 14th,
Absolutely.
Slosh Fest. And then I'm going to have you back later in the summer, because you guys are going to be opening for 38 Special over at the Batavia Downs. So we'll have another conversation and kind of push people out towards that way. You know what I mean? Because that's what we do.
Absolutely. I appreciate all the good vibes and all the great conversation, man. I really do.
Listen,
it.
Thanks again, brother. I enjoyed it as well, too. And we will definitely catch up soon, man. I'll see you Sunday. What the fuck am I talking about?
Yes, we will.
Yes. So I will see you Sunday, and we will talk more. Take it easy, brother.
Thank you, bro.
So, yeah, that was Joey Servideo, Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. Really cool guy. Just recently started kind of getting to know each other and bullshit. It was really cool. He reached out. He's like, hey, and I was like, hey. And, this is how it works sometimes. People come into our lives in their circles, and, we do the things we can. And, those crossroads lead us to great places. I want to shout out. I see my sister Leah and my brother Derek out there. Love y'all. I see my sister Gia. She's dancing around. Great to see you as well, too. I got to get you back on the show, sister. I gotta get you out there and let you cut loose a little bit more. I had a lot of fun the last time that we danced. And sometimes, within what I have done now, for those who've known me for a few, like Gia, who, has been part of our circle for a few, she plays some guitar as well, too. And she's definitely got some viewpoints on some things, but she's incredibly humble in that dynamic. But once that edge is tweaked, man, let me tell you, she's not the chick you want to fuck with, man. It will go badly. It'll be like I spit on your grave kind of fucking moment. All right. But I respect it and I love you. Yeah, no, listen, I'm doing what I do. I'm the wolf. That's, the wolf abides. Yeah, we'll get together offline and figure something out. I know you've been busy dancing around doing your things, and that's how life is. We don't always get the opportunities to interact, but I always like to try and find them when and where I can. Yes, she's laughing now. I was probably a little bit of delay. She knows what I'm talking about, because she has to dance in some circles, no pun intended. You know what I mean? Where, you don't get to fuck around. You know what I mean? It's not the place. I see Brian Sanders in the offense. Happened to rub elbows with Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinner. Side-Eye was honored to play on the same stage for the Dale Lazaro banner. Brian, you're part of Side-Eye. Cool. I played one of your new tracks earlier. I apologize that I didn't recognize your name. I'm lucky sometimes if I just get the band right until I get a little bit more saturation. So definitely appreciate the music you guys have been doing. Really, really great stuff. Definitely want to get you guys on the show. So I'm going to plant that seed right now. And I try to make it open as much as possible. That's a beautiful thing about the podcast. You know what I mean? I can't play commercial music, so I make this the focus of the local music scene. And then I don't have to worry about the fucking language. Oh, sister's got some art. You're going to enjoy the summer? Really? You? See, yeah, I don't know, Gia. I don't know. That sounds a bit out of character. Yeah, that's what I do sometimes. I'm a cheeky wolf. But we try to, as much as possible, get people engaged, either, you know, through the radio station and or the podcast. Try and, you know, do the little things that we can do within the music scene or the art scene or poetry. I had my brother Derek on last year, and he and I dipped into some deeper metal and contextual stuff. Some of that brain stuff. But I got one of you know, Shy's little trigger buttons. Sometimes it's just simply about. That's right. Taste that motherfucking rainbow. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. So I'm going to take a break real quick. I'm going to pop another new track from Hollowell. They've been in our circle for a few. Great band. They've been doing some shows locally around here. And congratulations in order, because there's a new baby girl in the fold. So if you're listening out there, Teresa, congratulations. I know we did it on the social media and stuff and everything, but yeah, I'm gonna give that shout out because I believe in the magic, the beauty of children. So when I see people just, you know, coming into that experience, you know, it's magical. You know, I'm just like, cool, you're gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna make you crazy. She knows what I'm talking about. Sometimes our kids are just there to test our sanity. The universe is like, you've been too calm lately. We have something for you.
Emotional damage.
Yes, I like pushing buttons. I got to get some more. I think I need to get some voice types of things. I do the voices, like Gia's heard me do some of the voices. Shy has heard it. Brother Ed and Brother Judah know that, you know, sometimes Dick Shoe McGee will make an appearance on the Good and the Bad and the Ugly show. But I've been doing the voices for years, and I started doing them for my son when he was younger and the kids in the neighborhood and stuff. And some of it was just, you know, an interactive tool, but some of it was, you know, I had to give, let's be blunt, I had to give a stage to the voices in my head. I couldn't just let them run around in my fucking head, you know what I mean? Because that shit just drives you crazy. So I'm like, all right, let me give you, you know, these little parts where you get to come out and play and, you know, do all whatever it is you need to do, get out of your system, and then go back in there and shut the fuck up until I need you. So it became, you know, a sanity check. And then later on, you know, once they were older and stuff like that, and they didn't need me anymore, and I'm just like, all right, what the fuck do I do with myself now? Shy was just like, why don't you do a podcast? Now, the flip side of that, and those of you who have never heard the story, it was somebody on one of her lives, I guess, had a little bit of a bug in their ass, and it's just like, you know, if he has so much to say, why doesn't he go someplace and do it someplace else? So I took that quite literally. I'm like, you know what? That's a good fucking idea. I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want to say. And I'm going to promote the music, my own or others, like, you know, Hollowell or Side-Eye. Yeah, no, listen, I'll definitely reach out to you, Brian, offline, and we'll figure something out. Definitely, you know, we have your tracks that will be running and in the programming and stuff, but I would definitely like to get you like in a unedited format. I think you guys got some pretty cool influences in there. And I'm sure you got some stories to share that you probably couldn't share on the radio, because that's what happens when you're on FM radio. The FCC says, nope, don't talk about that. This, however, the FCC can't fucking touch. So yeah, this is where the future is to a lot of degrees, but it's a better place. You know, just avoid the porn sites and the scammers and everything else in between, pretty much. That's comedy sarcasm for you. So, all right, here's Hollowell's Fallen, and then I'll dip back.
I finally found what makes me feel whole. To you I look empty, powerless even, and you might be right. I tortured myself in the darkness of the night, while you close your eyes and sleep so tight. I know it is selfish, I know it's not right. Maybe just one more time, maybe just one more. Now I love to pick up the pieces from this broken puzzle that I left behind. Oh, I should've known how sorry I am, but now I can find us. I tortured myself in the darkness of the night, while you close your eyes and sleep so tight. I know it is selfish, I know it's not right. Maybe just one more time, maybe just one more. I found you, found again, found you. I tortured myself in the darkness of the night, while you close your eyes and sleep so tight. I know it is selfish, I know it's not right. Maybe just one more time, maybe just one more. I know it is selfish, I know it's not right. Maybe just one more time, and I'll finally fly. I know it is selfish, I know it's not right. Maybe just one more time, and I'll finally fly. Finally fly.
The Old Wolf here to remind you to join us Sunday, April 14th from 1 to 7 p.m. over at the Iron Smoke Distillery for the second annual Slosh Fest, an event dedicated to celebrating the life and legacy of the late, great Uncle Slosh, beloved DJ here at WRFZ and a champion of the Rochester music scene. We got an incredible lineup including Blue Circle, Stoned and Free, Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners, Peter Ryan, and Brian Judah's Day's End closing it out. It promises to be an afternoon filled with amazing music, community spirit, and the power of giving back. Again, only here on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM. Yes, the final push into Slosh Fest this Sunday. Again, all the proceeds are going to be going to Mary Cariola in support of autism. And as mentioned earlier, it is one of those things that are near and dear to our hearts for a whole lot of reasons. Sister Gia knows. She and I met through the circles of the Under My Skin for Life Foundation, and she has been somebody within the scene, as they say, who cares and has been outspoken and has, like a lot of us, tried to do her part. And that's all it takes. You know, it's not about these big grandiose, gestures. You don't always have to make a big spectacle per se. But, again, when you can get people together around music, around compassion, around love, and try and help the people around us, what greater statement is there? You know what I mean? Again, it isn't rocket science. You know what I mean? Not always easy, but as long as there are people who are willing to stand up and say, hey, listen, we should do better, there'll be a context for it. And that is, again, the beauty of the Contini context. My brother Ed knows. He has been outspoken and very much engaged in it, and part of where all of this is going into the future. Not unlike Brother Judah, Nativia, and Diane, and a whole lot of other people from different walks. Our sister Jessica Oracles over there in Wisconsin, Lucy and Joyce down in Florida, Amy and her kids, our sister Val, our sister Jane, just so many people. I can't, I got my son, which everybody who knows me knows, that's one of my driving forces. Because it's, again, and I've heard people say this before, I may have fucked up a lot of things along the way, but that wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? And it gives me hope, it gives me inspiration, but it is one of my greatest sources of love and happiness. So I'm going to close it out tonight with 2 tracks, 2 totally different types of music. I got my brother Brian Judah's Day's End, Your Maker, which was a track that they did some years ago within that prog rock thing. And it's a cool track. It's one of the things you may hear Sunday when they perform, but they also got some new stuff that they're going to crack out. And you never know with them, they could go to Rush, to Genesis, to Deep Purple, and anywhere and everywhere in between. And they really are. They're a great bunch of guys, great musicians. So, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Blue Circle, really great band. Peter Ryan, really great singer-songwriter. Stoned and Free, absolutely fucking amazing with their Jimi Hendrix tribute experience. Really, really. And Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. Yeah, I fucked that up in the promo. I was like, blessed. Because that's how my mind translated it. Nobody had actually ever said the name to me before. I just saw it in print. So my logical mind was like, well, that says blessed. Yes, well, blessed. Okay. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Correct me. If you'd like to get your music on here, if you'd like to come on the show, anything at all, shoot me an email, wolf@oldwolfmusic.com. Shy is going to be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Shia, a.k.a. the Witch Coach, a.k.a. my witch, will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She'll be dancing with witches doing her Tara, all that groovy stuff. She's also got a new show on WRZ Thursdays 1 to 3 through the Veil, right before Ed Contini's Over the Edge. And Brother Judah, I think, has only got a couple more Sundays of live Rock the Rocks, Sundays 12 to 3. There won't obviously be a live show this Sunday because we'll all be at Iron Smoke Distillery for Slots Fest. The other track I'm going to close out tonight is the track that I did with my son, Matt Brown. Good grief. I just, blah, blah, blah. Brain is scrambled. I got too many names floating around, and it's like fucking Parcheesi right now. It's just insanity. Brother Matt, my brother Tony, my son, and Jeff Thal, we did a track, and I wrote it for the son of a dear friend of ours who lives in Texas. And he was going through some stuff. He was experiencing some bullying in his school. And this is something that a lot of kids who are dubbed as being different experience. And let me tell you, DJ's a great guy. Okay. Incredibly intelligent person. He is the better part. But a lot of times, because of the way, the world is, our kids experience these things. So long story short, we wrote the track Just Like Me as kind of a, hey, we're alike. We went through this, and some of us still go through it. Okay. These things happen to all of us all around. Some people are assholes and they treat other people like assholes. And it doesn't matter if you're a kid or a 68-year-old man on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? People sometimes they just do what they do. They don't really think it through, or sometimes they just simply don't care. But when you do care, and I did, and I still do, I was like, you know what, buddy? I'm going to write a song about this. And this one's for you, DJ, if you're out there listening, and Mama Steph, if you're out there. Much love, the best to you. So we're going to start it off with Day's End, close it out with Just Like Me, and then we'll be back next week for, I don't know. I know we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up down the year. I'm going to get my mother back on, and she's going to talk some stuff. I got Gwen Strang's going to come back from the band Frail later towards the fall. Brother Josh and his family from Bonded by Darkness are gone. Chris Hicks from Marshall Tucker will be on later in the summer. All kinds of groovy stuff coming down. Yeah, and listen, it'll be great to meet you, Brian, over there. I will be impossible to miss. I'll be the guy with the big green patches on the vest and the one that says Old Wolf. So, yeah, I'm easy to find, man. But listen, I'm definitely looking forward to meeting you. Really, really dig the music. So enjoy these last two tracks. And until next time, remember, hang in there. It gets better. And together, there's nothing we can't do. Your maker.
The fight is over. You're controlling me. Held against my will is the hardest thing to take until it's done. Leaving this world, a new life has just begun. Has just begun. Seeing all that I've done, I can't believe it was me. The demon inside I've come to be. It took what I had and gave me nothing in return. But I've learned you got to answer for what you did before you get burned. Standing before your maker, you win or lose. Make it count, the decision that you choose. Standing before your maker, what do you do? Stand and be judged, you deserve what is given to you. The days are coming to an end, and fear is your only friend. Will you keep it together? You don't know if you can. Now's the time to pray and open up your heart to let him in. Believing is the only way to begin. Standing before your maker, you win or lose. Make it count, the decision that you choose. Standing before your maker, what can you do? Stand and be judged, you deserve what is given to you. Standing before your maker, you win or lose. Make it count, the decision that you choose.